What if I told you that the most powerful movement you could do today, docenti, involve a gym, a treadmill, or even standing up? That it's not about pushing your body harder, but finally giving it a break. It's quietly begged for all these years. Picture this. You walk into your room, your knees ache, your back is tense, your legs feel like they've been dragging bricks all day. But instead of collapsing into a chair or reaching for pills, you lie down, slide your legs up against the wall, and breathe. Just breathe. Within minutes, something shifts not just in your body, but in your nervous system. This isn't a new trend or some TikTok nonsense. This is an ancient, time-tested healing posture called legs up thal, used for centuries by people who understood that stillness isn't weakness, it's restoration. It's how the body recalibrates, how the heart takes a break from pumping against gravity, and how your blood redistributes in ways that truly matter. Seniors all over the world, from Japan to Canada to rural villages in Pakistan, are rediscovering this simple act and saying the same thing. Why didn't I start this earlier? And here's the part. Many overlook this isn't a miracle. It's basic body science. When your legs are elevated above your heart, your circulation improves, your lymphatic system activates, and your nervous system begins to switch from chaos to calm. If you've been overwhelmed by fancy health gadgets, complex routines, or supplements that cost more than groceries, take this as a sign it's time to return to simplicity. No equipment, no side effects, just gravity and your breath. For those who've lived decades carrying families, building careers, and surviving hardships, isn't it time for your body to receive care too? So lie down, breathe deep, and let this be your moment, not to hustle, but to heal. If you're facing resistance in your mind right now, wondering how could something so simple help me, I invite you to not believe my words, but feel the results for yourself, starting tonight. Let's talk about something nobody wants to admit, but almost everyone over 50 experiences slow, frustrating digestion. Whether it's gas, bloating, that stuck heavy feeling after meals, or days of irregularity that leave you uncomfortable and moody, the truth is our digestive system changes with age. But what most people don't know is that raising your legs, yes, it's just lying down with your legs up against the wall, can actually stimulate the very process that's been slowing down. Intestinal motility, that's the medical term for how your gut moves food through the system, absorbs nutrients and eliminates waste. When you elevate your legs, blood flow naturally increases to your abdominal regions, specifically your stomach and intestines. This isn't just some theory. It's supported by clinical studies that show a significant improvement in digestion when people add this one simple habit to their day. And no, you don't need to be flexible or own a yoga mat, just a wall, and your willingness to care for your gut in a natural, side effect-free way. If you're dealing with constipation, sluggish metabolism, or even acid reflux, practicing this gentle pose for just 10 to 15 minutes daily can ease discomfort. Activate your parasympathetic nervous system that the body rest and digest mode and help restore balance without depending on laxatives or over-the-counter crutches. But here's the catch. Don't expect a miracle overnight. Like any habit worth having, consistency is the key. And if you're someone who's had abdominal surgery or major GI issues, please consult your doctor first. Because while this is gentle, it still influences blood flow and abdominal pressure. That said, for most seniors, this is one of the simplest, safest ways to honor your digestion without adding another pill to your cabinet. Your gut has served you faithfully your whole life. Maybe at time you gave it the calm it's been craving. If you've ever looked down at your ankles at the end of the day and seen puffiness, swelling, or a strange heaviness, you can explain welcome to one of the most common circulatory problems people over 60 face: peripheral edema. It's not your imagination, and it's not always about weight or diet. It's about blood and lymph fluid that can fight gravity anymore, and pools in your lower legs. But here's the game changer. When you elevate your legs above your heart, even just for 15 minutes, you give gravity the chance to work in your favor instead of against you. Suddenly, fluid that was trapped in your ankles starts to flow back toward your heart and kidneys, where it can be filtered and processed properly. No medications, no tight compression stockings that pinch and itch, just your body doing what it was designed to do with a little help from positioning. If you re someone who's been sitting for long hours or you suffer from poor circulation due to heart issues or a sedentary lifestyle, this simple act can offer almost instant relief. One gentleman in his 70s told us that after just 3 days of this habit, he no longer had to massage his legs every night just to sleep. Now, of course, if you have kidney disease, heart failure, or clotting issues, always consult your doctor before starting a new routine like this. But for the vast majority of older adults, this is a safe, peaceful, and shockingly effective way to feel light on your feet again without chemicals or contraptions. Think of it as a nightly drainage session, but instead of tubes and machines, it's just you, your wall, and 15 minutes of stillness that can change how your body feels from the knees down. There is a unique kind of exhaustion that lives in the legs of someone who's been standing for hours, walking long distances, or sitting too much without proper circulation. It's the kind that doesn't go away even after a night's sleep. You know the feeling. Your legs throb, your calves feel tight, and sometimes you wonder if they'll ever feel light again. This is more than just tiredness. It's a warning sign from your circulatory system saying, "I'm overwhelmed." But the solution doesn't have to be complicated. Raising your legs above your heart level at the end of your day helps blood and lymph fluid drain from the lower limbs, reducing pressure, inflammation, and that heavy dragging sensation. It's not just about comfort, it's about giving your veins the chance to restore normal flow, especially after they've been fighting gravity all day long. For seniors who worked on their feet their whole lives, teachers, retail workers, nurses, this practice is like a long overdue thank you note to your lower body. And for those who are more sedentary now, it's one of the easiest ways to prevent future complications like varicose veins, poor circulation, and muscle stiffness. Imagine lying down, and within minutes, feeling your legs relax in ways they haven't in years. That's the power of intentional stillness. It's gentle, it's accessible, and with regular practice, it turns into a daily ritual. Your legs will start craving. And if you feel tingling or numbness during the pose, just bend your knees a little. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. Be consistent, be patient, and over time, you'll notice your legs feel lighter, not just at night, but all day long. We often think of circulation only when our hands or feet get cold, but in truth, blood flow is what powers everything: your energy, your focus, your skin tone, even your heart rate. As we age, that flow slows down. The heart has to pump harder to send blood uphill, especially to your brain and upper body. That is why raising your legs is more than just a comfort movement. It's a chance to reverse the pressure. When your legs are elevated above your chest, your veins no longer need to struggle to return blood to the heart. Instead, blood moves freely, oxygen gets delivered more efficiently, and your heart gets a much-needed break. This simple position can help stabilize blood pressure, reduce the risk of vein damage, and even prevent the kind of clotting that happens when blood sits too long in one place. One woman in her 60s described it best. "It's like I can feel my body breathing again."
And it's true, when your blood flows better, everything starts working better.
Of course, if you have chronic heart conditions, talk to your doctor before starting this regularly, especially if you're on medications that affect circulation. But if you're in generally good health and just want to boost your vitality, clarity, and even skin glow, this technique can become your daily dose of renewal. Combine it with slow breathing, and it turns into more than a health habitat, becomes a full-body recharge without caffeine, pills, or procedures. Your heart works for you every second of every day, so give it 15 minutes to rest, recover, and revive. Stress is one of those enemies that sneaks in quietly and lives in your body without paying rent. It hides in your shoulders, grips your lower back, keeps your thoughts racing at night, and tightens your chest without warning. But there is a gentle weapon you can use, one that doesn't involve therapy bills or prescription bottles. It's this simple act: lying down, lifting your legs up the wall, and letting gravity do what it's meant to do. When you elevate your legs, your body activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically your natural calm-down switch. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your muscles begin to unclench. It's like a soft internal whisper saying, "You're safe now." Many seniors who've been stuck in a cycle of chronic stress, overthinking, or emotional fatigue report that this daily pose became their emotional anchor. And it makes sense. When you stop physically bracing yourself, your mind follows. Add a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and suddenly, you're not just resting, you're repairing. You don't have to chant or meditate like a monk to feel peace. Just breathe. Let your body recalibrate. If you've ever thought, I'm too old to change, think again, because you're not changing who you are. You're just reminding your nervous system how to rest. If you suffer from anxiety, emotional burnout, or even sleep disturbances tied to stress, this one habit could be the most healing 5 minutes of your entire day. If you're over 50, chances are your back has a story, a long one. Years of work, lifting children, long drives, poor posture, or maybe an old injury that never quite healed. And now, the discomfort follows you everywhere, from the kitchen sink, to the grocery store, to your bed. But what if you could relieve that pressure without twisting, cracking, or visiting a chiropractor every week? When you lie flat on your back and raise your legs to a 90-degree angle against the wall, something remarkable happens. Your lumbar spine, the lower back that holds up most of your body weight, finally gets to relax. The discs decompress, the vertebrae soften into alignment, and the surrounding muscles, tense from decades of holding on, begin to release. This isn't some miracle posture. It's basic anatomy. By changing your body's relationship with gravity, you're removing the very force that pulls your spine down every single day. If you add a small cushion or towel under your lower back, you can gently support the spine's natural curve and increase comfort. People with osteoarthritis, scoliosis, or spinal tension have found this position to be a game changer, often experiencing noticeable relief within just 1 week of daily use. But as always, if you have a serious spinal condition, talk to your doctor before trying it. For the rest of us, especially those who just want to sit, stand, and walk without wincing, this is a drug-free, cost-free, side-effect-free practice that may just bring your back the peace it's been craving for years. Sleep, for many seniors, feels like a luxury. You lay down hoping to rest, but your brain won't stop running its mouth. You flip, you sigh, you stare at the ceiling, and when sleep finally comes, it's shallow and broken. Sound familiar? What if I told you the sleep switch ISNT in your pillow, or your melatonin gummy ZIT, IS, in your nervous system, and you can activate it without a single pill? Raising your legs against the wall before bedtime engages your body's rest response, which slows your heart, lowers your blood pressure, and shifts your hormones towards sleep readiness. It's the body's way of saying, okay, we're done for the day. Shh. As you lie there, gravity pulls tension out of your legs and hips, while your mind begins to slow down, especially if you pair it with deep belly breathing. One man in his late 60s told us that for years he relied on sleep aids until he tried this pose, and now it's become part of his nightly ritual. Not because he had to, but because his body started asking for it. And if your concern is time, remember this. Even 10 minutes of leg elevation before bed can help your body shift from wired to tired naturally. Don't wait for exhaustion to force you into sleep. Teach your body to invite it gently. And always make sure your room is dark, screens are off, and your breathing is slow. Let this be your evening reset, not another failed attempt at quiet. Recovery, whether from surgery, illness, or sheer life fatigues, not just about rest. It's about circulation, oxygen, and how well your body can heal itself from the inside out. And if you've ever found yourself stuck in bed, feeling stiff, puffy, or drained, here's something that may surprise you. By simply raising your legs above your heart while lying flat, you stimulate blood flow toward vital organs and reduce stagnation in your lower limbs. Where fluid and inflammation love to collect, this improved circulation sends oxygen-rich blood to your tissues. It's helping them heal, regenerate, and recover with less swelling and more energy. For people who've had joint replacements, abdominal surgeries, or even just overwhelming fatigue from chronic illness, this posture helps jumpstart the healing process without stress or effort. And it's not just physical. Many seniors report feeling more emotionally balanced, less foggy, and more mentally present after making this pose part of their daily recovery ritual. Of course, if you've had recent surgery or have clotting concerns, always check with your doctor first. But for most people, especially those who are in a slow climb back to wellness, this pose can be like flipping a switch from shutdown to circulation, from weakness to renewal. It's not dramatic. It's not instant. But over time, it helps your body remember what healing feels like. No one wants to talk about hemorrhoids, but almost everyone over 60 has dealt with them at some point. Ignoring them docent, make them go away. These swollen, irritated veins in the rectal area often flare up due to pressure, poor circulation, and straining during bowel movements, especially in people who sit too much or struggle with constipation. But here's something few people realize. Lifting your legs against the wall can actually help reduce the internal pressure that contributes to hemorrhoids. When your legs are elevated, gravity assists blood return, and this reduces stagnation in the veins of the lower pelvis and rectum. It's not a cure, but it is a natural way to bring relief, and for many, it's the missing piece in their prevention plan. One woman told us, "I was embarrassed for years until I realized I didn't have to suffer in silence." Now she uses this pose daily, not just for comfort, but to prevent flare-ups before they start. And that's the key: using it as a proactive tool, not a desperate reaction. If you already suffer from severe hemorrhoids, talk to your doctor about combining this with a treatment plan. But for mild to moderate cases, this gentle elevation can be one of the most soothing steps you take each day. No ointments, no side effects. Just gravity and self-respect. The pelvis is one of the most underestimated regions in the body, yet it holds everything together: your posture, your balance, your digestion, even your dignity when you stand tall or walk with ease. But over time, especially after decades of sitting, stress, childbirth, or surgeries, the pelvic muscles grow tight, the blood flow slows, and discomfort becomes part of daily life. You may not even notice it at first, just a dull ache in your lower abdomen, or a sense that something feels off when you sit, walk, or rise from bed. But here's the truth. When you raise your legs against a wall, you allow fresh, oxygenated blood to reach this neglected area, flooding the pelvic floor with circulation and slowly loosening the knots of tension that have been ignored for years. And this isn't just theory, it backed by physical therapists who recommend passive pelvic elevation to help improve everything from urinary control to reproductive health to spinal alignment. For men and women alike, especially those who feel stiffness in the hips or tension in the lower back, this technique can make a remarkable difference, not by force, but by flow. You don't need to stretch aggressively or join a fitness class to reconnect with this crucial part of your body. Just lie down, lift your legs, and let the blood move back into places your posture and habits may have long forgotten. And if you've had recent pelvic surgeries or chronic disorders, check with your healthcare provider first. But for most aging adults, this is a safe, comfortable way to unlock a part of their body that has been quietly asking for attention. Let's be honest, stretching gets harder with age, and sometimes it's not just uncomfortable, it's risky. Tight hamstrings, stiff hips, and an aching back can make even the gentlest bend feel like a dangerous mission. But here's the secret. You don't have to move to stretch. When you lie on your back and rest your legs up the wall, your hamstrings, the long muscles along the back of your thighs, naturally begin to lengthen. And because you're not forcing the stretch or balancing on one foot, it's completely safe, especially for those who struggle with flexibility, balance, or joint pain. Over time, this gentle, passive stretch can relieve tension in your hips, lower back, and knees, all without requiring any more effort than breathing. It's especially helpful for seniors who spend a lot of time seated, as the hamstrings tend to shorten and pull on the spine, leading to poor posture and discomfort during walking or standing. By lifting your legs daily, you slowly release that tension, and it's not just your legs that benefit, your entire lower body begins to feel more open and mobile. If you find the stretch too intense at first, simply move a few inches away from the wall and ease into it. And don't worry about how far you go. The goal is not perfection, it's release. Over days and weeks, your muscles will respond, your posture may improve, and you'll rediscover a comfort in movement you thought was gone forever. No pain, no fear, just quiet, consistent healing. Posture isn't just about how you look, it's about how safely you move, how confidently you walk, and how stable you feel when you step off a curb or get out of bed. But as we age, years of sitting, slouching, and spinal compression catch up with us, leading to rounded shoulders, forward necks, and a loss of core control that affects everything from digestion to fall risk. The good news? You can begin to retrain your posture without any fancy tools or physical strain, just by lying down and elevating your legs. When you do this, your back naturally flattens, your spine aligns, and your muscles learn again what neutral posture feels like. You're literally removing the pressure that's been pulling your body downward for decades. This not only eases pain, but begins to restore the mind-body connection that's essential for balance and coordination. Many seniors who've practiced this daily report standing taller, walking more steadily, and even breathing more deeply as their chest opens and core engages without effort. And if your body is used to hunching or tensing out of habit, this posture gives your nervous system a new blueprint. It's a silent recalibration one that your body carries with it even after you stand up. For those prone to falls, poor posture, or weak balance, this simple pose becomes more than relaxation, it becomes protection. And for best results, pair it with mindful breathing and regular practice. Over time, your body will remember how it was meant to stand, grounded, open, and strong. Sometimes the weight we carry isn't physical. It's the grief of losing someone you loved. The frustration of a body that doesn't work the way it used to. The silence that fills a room once filled with children, laughter, and noise. And while doctors often prescribe medications or distractions, they rarely tell you this. Your body holds those emotions in your chest, in your belly, in your legs. But when you lie down, elevate your legs. And let go, you create space for something rare and precious in this noisy world: stillness. It's in that stillness that your emotions begin to rise, soften, and sometimes even release. Many people report crying during this pose not because it hurts, but because it finally feels safe to feel. Your nervous system slows, your breath deepens, and suddenly you're not trying to fix anything. You're just being. And that's powerful. For older adults who've lived through war, loss, sacrifice, and change, this pose becomes a kind of prayer, way to come home to yourself. And if you don't feel anything right away, that's okay too. The healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just the quiet comfort of knowing that for these few minutes, there's nowhere to be and nothing to prove. Just gravity doing the work. Just you, finally resting. In a world that constantly demands more and more activity, more productivity, more noise, this pose offers a quiet rebellion, a return to simplicity. And for seniors who've spent a lifetime doing for others, this becomes the one thing you do purely for yourself. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need high-tech gadgets. All you need is a wall, a quiet space, and the willingness to pause. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day, morning or evening, can become the foundation for better circulation, clearer sleep, lighter legs, calmer emotions, and more energy. It's not a cure-all. It's not a replacement for medical care. But it's a companion, a daily act of kindness you give to your own body. And with each breath, each moment of stillness, you send a message deep into your cells. I'm not done. I'm still healing. I still matter. That message gets carried by your blood, softened by your muscles, and remembered by your nervous system long after you've stood up and walked away. If you're someone who always says, I don't have time, start here. You've given the world decades of effort. Now give yourself 15 minutes of rest and watch how everything else begins to shift.